attachments, in a sense, I look at them as consciousness. Just like a person that you might meet on the street. They come in, they start talking to you, and by the time they finish talking to you, you're just tired as hell, just drained. That's what attachments do. They connect themselves to you, and they drain your energy. Usually, they like to attach themselves to wounds. So old wounds will start to reactivate. It's like a pain that won't go away. And another healer I knew who did similar work, he called it a memory. So I went to him because I had a car accident when I was 16, and my chest went into the steering column. It was one of those old style cars, into the steering column. And so after I mostly healed, I would stretch and always get a pop and kind of painful. Or the weather would change, get damp, I would feel pain. So I went to this man. I said, I've had this thing for, and at the time I was in my early, mid-30s. I said, I've had this pain, man, can you help me? And so he was basically a healer, and he did this thing. He would hit acupoints or whatever, and tapping on my knees and whatever. I said, man, it's up here. So he finished doing this thing. I left, it was gone. I said, well, what, actually, before I left, I said, so what do you do? He said, I removed the memory. He said, the body remembers the trauma. And so that trauma is also an attachment. It's conscious. It feeds on your energy. It puts you out of balance, which allows other things to feed on your energy. About it yesterday, too. Attachment is something that, in other words, it attaches itself to a weak area of your energy, and it feeds on your energy, and it weakens your stamina. It weakens your stamina. So, take a look at it. Hold strong. Yes. All these areas are chakra. Okay. The crown is where you get a lot of your energy coming through from outside, and it feeds the rest of the body. So this area here, you have a block there, basically. I'll ask them, okay, if it's an energy block, which means people with that chakra. If it's an energy block, it can be sort of like if you picture a boulder being dropped in the middle of a river. And so the energy, the water can't flow directly up the river. It hits the block, it hits the boulder, and then it just kind of like creeps around, which means it slows down the flow, which is the same as like damming a river. Put a dam there, and you cut down the flow. So it's the same thing with your energy. And attachments usually will attach themselves to old wounds, and most of the time they'll attach themselves where you tend to hold stress, which is between the shoulder blades and in the shoulder area. So with me, I use my third eye to actually see what's going on. But first, I'm going to ask whether it's an energy block or an entity block. So entity block means that it's a consciousness, that it thinks, it knows what it's doing, and it knows that it's like a parasite. It's just that with your physical eyes, you don't see it. But again, everything in the physical realm is influenced by the things you can't see. So all these other dimensions and everything that people talk about, that basically dictates what happens in the physical. So when people are having trouble, in other words, solving issues and things of that sort, they're looking at just what we see with our physical eyes. They're not looking on the other side to realize that there are things behind that are instrumental in whatever's going on, all the problems that are going on. And believe me, out of 20 years of doing this stuff, there's a lot of things on the other side that benefit energy-wise from all the nonsense that goes on this planet. So the intro into understanding it is actually dealing with attachment. So I'm going to ask if it's an energy attachment, an energy attachment, entity attachment, yes, And you're trying to keep me from pushing my arm. I mean, your arm. Okay. So, what will happen, I find a location, and usually I can that. I find a location, and I reach in. I use my hands like this as kind of like a visual aid. But really, etherically, I'm pushing my mind into that area. And then I grab hold of it, and I pull it out. So this is what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to pull it out. And when I pull something off of someone that's a negative energy, I delete it. In other words, I don't want it coming back, attaching itself to anyone else. You know? So I have a place where I send things, I send it off, and we'll see if I got it. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so now, if you release, it means I haven't got it. It means I got it. Okay, so that one's gone. You have, picking up something. Yeah, weakness here. My hands start to shake when she starts to come through this way. Yeah. So the cool thing about breaking through, like super breaking through the shell, in order to get the body to actually respond, because the body really wants to tell you the truth. But there's a lot of people in the beginning, I try to get their arm to work, so I'm strong, and then release, and they won't release. That means it's fighting against me getting in to get information. In other words, they don't want to be uprooted. So, with you, it was easier actually to break through. So you went strong, and then you went down, but it kind of, you went down slow, but you actually went down, which meant that it's like cracking open a shell, cracking open an egg. Once you crack open an egg, once I crack it open, it can't close back up. So what happens is that the body is very honest about its existence and its survival. So tell me what I need to know. Anything that I ask, and I don't ask really private stuff, it's just about your health. Okay. And some of the things that have come up also, it will start to tell you history. One of the areas, and I'm not going to muscle test in these areas, for a lot of people, and particularly women, is in the groin area. There's usually a weakness there, especially if they've had relationships. So depending on the number of relationships they've had, depends on how weak that area is. So when you have an intimate relationship with someone, you're exchanging energy. And people will get attachments from actual live people. Someone will think ill of you, and all of a sudden it'll kind of like affect, how you feel, affect your flow of energy. And a lot of that it goes into the line of when people do the dark arts or whatever, black magic and all that. All that has to do with manipulation of energy. And those individuals understand that there's other things that most people can't see that they call in, they make a deal with them a lot of times to attack someone. And so you'll get up, you have an ache, and you just can't figure out what's going on. You go to the doctor, and they're like, we'll just do tests. We don't know what's going on. More tests. You end up going to someone like myself. We start to look in a different place. We look at what's going on the other side. So when I break through and I use your arm, your body starts to tell me what's happening, and it depends on what questions I'm asking. And sometimes they'll give me a visual as to what's going on. A lot of times I find with many women there's a lot of hidden pain. And unfortunately on this planet there's a whole lot of abuse of women and abuse of young girls. And the number of young women I've had come in, and I find that, I don't usually just tell them, like, wow, you've had some abuse, right?